WOWT6. This is Heartland Focus.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to Heartland Focus. My name is Tim Clark. I'm your host. A great show for you planned this morning. I got the good doctor, Reverend Pastor Ralph Lasseter. He's the senior pastor of Mount Moriah Baptist Church here in Omaha, Nebraska. We're going to talk about the historical significance of not only the church, but the work of the church. And so that's coming up. But you can see I have my mask on. This is just really wanting to send the message that it's not over. I think we still have to do what's necessary to practice safety, and not only just for ourselves, but for people in front of us. This mask is worn largely because I'm trying to protect people in front of me. And so it ain't really, when you think about a lot of the challenges out there, people say, oh man, wearing a mask should be a choice, and you're taking away my civil liberties and freedom and all that kind of stuff. I just think, you know, we built this country in terms of law and order. So there's choices and there's consequences. This happens in terms of the pandemic that's in front of us. One of the consequences is death. And believe me, it's close to home. Some of my relatives have passed because of COVID-19. So I can say firsthand that it is deadly. And so as we look at rules and regulations and laws, you know, to drive a car, you got to have a license, got to have insurance. I can't, although, you know, I probably wouldn't because I'm still working on me, but I can't walk in a restaurant with my shirt off, trying to flex and let people see my 12-pack, right? I just can't do that. So that we're built on a system of laws and orders, and so those freedoms that we do have of choice, they're protected every day. Our military. And we have the best military in the world, and that will provide opportunity for you and I to wake up every day and say that we're free, that we live in the land of the free, and that we in hot pursuit of justice and liberty and freedom for all, right? That's the everyday challenge. And so I just wanted to just start off by just saying, hey, you guys, we're not out of the woods yet, that we got to remain vigilant out of abundance of cautious, because this virus is insidious. It's here for one reason only, is to attack and kill and to really cause people great pain. And when you have that, we're in a war. And I think, you know, it's going to take sacrifice, courage. It's going to take us coming together. It's going to mostly take us focusing on things that are for the common good of humanity and for the common good of public health. So, hey, that's what I wanted to send this morning. I want to invite you guys, help me join and welcome our guest, Dr. Ralph Lasseter. He has his. You have your mask on. I said, so you come prepared, man. So I know, so you've been vaccinated and all that good stuff. So, man, hey, you take your mask off there, buddy. Well, welcome to Heartland Focus.
Thank you, Tim. Good to be here.
Yes.
Also good to listen to your opening monologue, because I am 100% in agreement with all of your sentiments. I often begin and end any messages that I share about the virus with a short message.
Okay. What is that?
The virus kills, the vaccine does not. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
There's no doubt that we have 100,000 additional individuals who did not have to lose their lives if they had simply taken the vaccine. And that's 100,000 additional deaths since the vaccine was available.
And really, when you put it, you know, in that simple term but powerful, one choice kills. We know that it kills. And we know the other choice in terms of being vaccinated, inoculated, it prevents. It has a you have a higher chance of living versus dying.
Absolutely. As I was driving here to the studio, I received a call from a friend of mine, a pastor friend in Dallas, Texas. 3 members of one family, all under the age of 50, died in the last 30 days.
Yeah,
Neither had been vaccinated.
Yeah, see, so it's real. And I think, I know we're here to talk about the significance of your church
Absolutely.
and your work around, but that's part of your work.
That's part of
it's
our
outreach.
Work. Absolutely.
So what have, before we get into the celebration of your milestone over 130 plus years of service in Nebraska, talk about some of the work of the church around the vaccination, COVID awareness, and all that kind of work.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Mount Moriah, as most churches, surely they are concerned about the spiritual health of the members of their congregations, but also churches are concerned about both the physical and emotional health of their parishioners. Mount Moriah, thanks to my wife, Doris Lassiter, and all of her
She's
efforts.
been here many times. She's out there working hard. So Doris, hello.
Yes.
If I had a hat, I would take it off. But I'm going to pop my collar because of the work you've been doing and your team. So thank you.
Absolutely. So we have been training health ambassadors with over almost 50 churches.
Nice.
Those health ambassadors have received tools and information whereby they can go back and share the truth. One of the key things in fighting this virus is that we have to make sure that there is truth that individuals have to consider, understand, and drive their decisions.
Really? Do facts matter?
In my opinion, facts do matter.
Right.
Character matters.
Right, that's right.
Facts matters.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we've had just an ongoing effort in educating the members of our community. I've had opportunities to speak to the public. Not only with you.
Yes, right.
I was early on an opportunity to actually have myself videotaped as I was receiving my first vaccination.
Okay.
Have had some conversations with the governor. So in my opinion, individuals who have the potential to influence should share good information and should also be good models and good examples.
That's right.
So that, in addition to sharing information, I don't know how many thousands of masks, how many gallons of hand sanitizer we've distributed. I don't know how many items that churches can use on their websites and their church bulletins. But the key is to just keep the message in front of people because the virus is not going away.
Yeah.
We essentially have to erect defenses.
What I'm hearing, I mean, because some would say, all the churches, the church have been inactive because, one, folks stopped going to church and things like that. And so the time that we really need churches have been mostly inactive. I don't hear all the words you just said does not breathe of inactivity.
The activity and the nature of it has changed because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
Churches today, if they do not have a virtual presence, Facebook, website, what have you, then they are truly losing the ability to connect with the community and to connect with their parishioners. We did not budget it, but we had to plan and invest in our technology.
Yeah.
We now have staff who are solely devoted to essentially live streaming, providing information via Facebook.
Yeah. I tell you, it's not our future, it's our now. Social media, and I think you just spoke to that.
Yes.
And that if we don't choose to, jump on board, we choose to just really be out of bounds in terms of our realities of what it takes to really reach people. There
were companies who made buggy whips. And when the automobile industry came about, those buggy whip manufacturers didn't realize that they really weren't in the business of making buggy whips. They were in the business of acceleration. And if they had understood that, then they would have learned how to make carburetors.
There you go.
For cars. So likewise, churches, we're in the business not of just bringing people inside of the four walls, but also connecting with individuals using the technology of today.
There you go. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Let's talk a bit about the significance of the work of Mount Moriah in that really I think you guys are cited as one of the oldest churches in the state of Nebraska. So let's talk about that and really what's in front of you and the work and the vision. Hey, stay with me. Got to take a short break. We're going to learn about really church role, significant in terms of just now and our way forward. Stay with me. I'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Heartland Focus. I'm your guest. My guest is Dr. Ralph Lassiter, and we've been talking about really the significance of the church. And so thank you so much, Dr. Lassiter. So, you know, and I really enjoyed the conversation on the first segment about really your take on terms of COVID-19, where we're at and where we need to go. But when you think about the work of the church, and I'm glad we had a chance to talk about really the work, because some folks feel churches kind of just shut the doors and because of the pandemic, and but from the conversation, there's been a lot of work. Right. That when you think about Mount Moriah Baptist Church, 134 years, being the oldest church in the state of Nebraska, if not maybe amongst them. Talk about the significance of that in terms of the journey, kind of where you at, where you've been, where you at, where do we want to go?
Well, Tim, I think the use of the term journey is probably a good label to place on any look at the history of Mount Moriah. It is the oldest predominantly African-American Baptist church in the state of in Omaha, the second oldest in the state of Nebraska. Mount Zion Baptist Church in Lincoln is the oldest Baptist church in the state. The church was formed, small group, in 1887. Wow. And one of the significant aspects of the church's history is its service to the community. That's been consistent from its origins. I think when we look at milestones, the formation of the NAACP included pastors from Mount Moriah, and at least two pastors in recent times were leaders in the local NAACP. In terms of the state and national convention, Mount Moriah has always provided leadership to those organizations. But again, service to the community beyond the spiritual needs has been primary. Most folks are familiar with Mount Moriah's serving Thanksgiving dinner. We serve dinners to thousands of individuals, and as a matter of fact, many organizations have now begun to do that. We now do other things in order to meet the needs of the poor. But in terms of significant milestones, one of the more interesting aspects of the church's history is that we had, as one of our oldest members, the last surviving veteran of the Civil War. Yeah, the last surviving veteran.
Wow. So now when you think about some of that journey, you cited NAACP and so on. The church in the past has played such a integral role when you look at social injustice. Because there goes, the body is important in terms of and the mental is important in terms of how you talked about poverty, and you guys had a solution for that. What's the work now? You got the George Floyds, you got these things are happening to poor people, and they just cannot do it by themselves. But the church has been very instrumental in all of those points of light or transformations in the Civil War, civil rights, all those kind of things. So what's in front of us now?
Well, clearly, in order for individuals, in particular young people, to be successful, we have to have an impact not only on their spiritual development, but also on their ability to function effectively in today's society. So You're talking about job skills,
Yeah.
not just how to find a job, but how to keep and be successful on a job.
Right.
We have to also encourage young people to understand that there are options. Going to college is a good choice for many kids, but also attending a trade school such as Metro Tech
That's right.
is an awesome, we have construction going on right now, and I clearly understand what plumbers, electricians, and other craftsmen, you can truly earn an awesome living by gaining, as the folks used to say, a trade. So we have to encourage our young people to understand that there are lots of career options out there. And then also, there are responsibilities. When you receive options in life, responsibilities come with those. So one of the things that we try to do is to help young people to understand what their responsibilities are for successful living. Successful living in your family, successful living as a parent, in particular as a father.
Yeah.
We have too many single moms raising their kids.
Yeah.
We have too many young men who are bringing children into the world.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are a lot of things
There's
that
a
we
lot
can
of
get
things.
into, but essentially you ask the question, what is the church doing? What are we doing? Our objective is to help individuals to be fully equipped, to be effective. A holistic approach to being
yeah.
the parent.
No, one would say, and I met, Pastor, you're going to have to come back because I got a lot of questions, and I think we got to have these open conversations because I was in a discussion and one says, we're raising a generation of young people that they haven't even stepped inside of a church. I grew up, and even though my mom didn't go to church, but she made sure I went to Sunday school, or in the summertime, I was part of Vacation Bible School.
Yes.
And so I want you to hit on that a little bit because I think that consciousness, because then what I guess they were saying this to say, why not expect to have chaos and craziness in terms amongst our folks because there's no foundation spiritually. And so talk a little bit about outreach and what are we doing to really connect with our young people to give them that spiritual foundation? I know we need more time.
No,
but,
I'll try to be brief, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but if Jesus was here today, he would not wear a robe and sandals, nor would he require everyone to dress as individuals dressed as during the time that he lived on this earth over 2,000 years ago. But unfortunately, sometimes we expect individuals who come into our church today to act as maybe we did, or our grandparents or our great-grandparents did. To wear a church hat or to wear a three-piece suit. That's okay if that's what individuals want to do, but we don't want to confuse tradition with doctrine or dogma. Dogma says these are things that are essential. They do not change. Doctrine is pretty much specific to how we believe that worship should occur. Tradition is how we want to do things. For example, we used to cover, when I grew up in my church, we would cover the communion table with a white cloth.
That's right. Me too. Yeah.
But why was that done? Well, I was told by one person it was done because at the time the churches did not have air conditioning. They did not want insects to somehow land on the communion, so they covered it, but we continue to do so. But there's nothing in the Bible that says that was good. So in terms of young people, whether it's music, whether it's dress, whether it's allowing them to be involved in the church, giving them opportunities to not just sit on a pew, but to actually lead.
Yeah.
There are things that we can do to make the church more open to young people. Now, there are churches that have the flashing lights. They have different music styles. It essentially, what they're trying to do is something very similar to reflect today's culture. Naturally, we have to recognize that we are in the world. We don't want to be of the world, but there is a balance.
Yeah, the balance, And I think it speaks to really, how do we really shore up that moral compass of right and wrong? And I think when you don't have that foundation, and like you said, if you got 70%, I don't know the number, So, I won't even put a number. So let me retract 70% because I'm trying to stay focused on facts. But when you have a large amount of parents having kids out of wedlock, those are challenging. Then you couple that on top of this, there's no spiritual foundation. You're building, that's a recipe for, some stuff. So,
however, you do have to find opportunities to connect and begin to change that formula. Pastor T. Michael Williams, and maybe today we'll have a chance to talk about the fact that our churches came together. But one of the passions of his church before becoming a part of Mount Moriah was after-school programs. Awesome. And that was a way for the church to go into Omaha Public Schools.
That's right.
After-school clubs, backyard Bible clubs, essentially to begin to introduce kids who may not have heard about church, the Lord, the Bible, to introduce them to those concepts.
That's important work.
Yeah, and we began to catch those kids at an early age, bring them into the church and to do things with them.
Let's take a short break, and when we come back, let's talk about some of the events. We'll pull up your website, and we'll talk about some of the events. Awesome. Hey, we're going to take a short break for the cause, pay some bills. I'll be right back. Hey, man, welcome back. Thank you, man. This has been great dialogue. I appreciate you really taking the time, Dr. Lassiter, to just really pouring into this conversation. And so you have in front of you, man, you're celebrating 134 years of being in existence, and you're leading the Mount Moriah Church. Now, you did say a little bit in terms of what you're joined by who now? Talk a little bit about that real quick.
Certainly. In 2019, the Risen Son Baptist Church, led by Reverend Thomas Michael Williams, united with Mount Moriah, and we began to operate as one church.
Okay. So events. So in this celebrating this milestone, what's going to happen? What people should get excited about and help you in that celebration? Awesome. We'll pull up your website as well.
Awesome. Yes. On October the 10th, Sunday at 10:30, we'll begin our worship celebration.
Okay. We got your website up so they can see all that. Man, look at that. That must be your after-school program or something.
That was one of our activities with kids.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll have worship on that Sunday morning, but it will be preceded by a gospel jazz concert that Saturday evening at 7 o'clock in the Moriah Heritage Center. We have Chad Stoner who'll be there. We also have Christy Ballard and the Joe Taylor Quartet. So some awesome music. We encourage.
I forgot you're a lover of jazz.
I
you
love
like
jazz. I love all music, but in particular gospel jazz. So that's that Saturday night, followed by worship on Sunday morning, and then on October 24th in the afternoon, we will be dedicating an addition to our church.
Nice.
That'll be at 3:30.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, that's awesome, man. And so as we leave, in terms of just to close out this segment, what message, if you could summarize it in 30 seconds, telling the pastor, you only got 30 seconds, but 30 seconds, our way forward, or a message of hope, of encouragement to our viewers out there?
Okay. That's an interesting question, and I'll try to keep it to now 25 seconds.
I took 5.
You took 5. Okay. Well, first and foremost, having faith in God is primary. And many of I should say all of the problems that we're experiencing in life can be resolved if first and foremost you have a relationship with the Lord. That's the beginning of it. And once you have that relationship, then it's a matter of connecting with other like-minded people, because we often say it takes a village, to raise a child. The bottom line is when individuals come together, they can do some awesome work for the community and for the kingdom.
That's right.
And so clearly, if you don't have that relationship, nor do you have that connection, that family, then that should be one of your primary objectives. And Mount Moriah, 24th and Ohio.
There you go.
Our doors are open to everybody.
And I'm pretty sure you got a Facebook page.
Absolutely.
They can go like you.
That's correct.
Right on.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your work and what you guys are doing to make a difference out there. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hey, so hey, I reached out to shake your hand there.
Didn't want to leave you
You
hanging.
didn't say yeah. But in the midst of COVID, though, I understand if you would have left me hanging there, that would have been appropriate. Hey, you guys, that's all for this episode of Heartland Focus. But really, this is an opportunity for not only that we take care of ourselves, but it's an opportunity for us to take care of each other. And we do that by trying to be as safe as possible as it relates to our behaviors and our activities out there. So make today the beginning of your best year yet. Go out there, hug somebody from afar if you have to, but do your dance to your beat. Don't let nobody tell you how to move or groove. Take the time to be good to yourself. It makes it so much easier to be good to others when you take the time to do you. Until next time, go out there, lean forward, and do what's necessary to win. I'm out. Thank you again, man. Appreciate you.